Hello, everyone. This is Howard Fox, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series, the podcast that celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Marat Omarov is our guest today. Marat is creating a regenerative village for the new era in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. This village is called the ARK, and I am so blessed and grateful that Marat has come to us today, is joining us. We met via a site where I find many of my great podcast guests, Podmatch, and I'm so glad he went beyond, like, why would this guy want to talk to me? And he's here today from beautiful Costa Rica. Marat, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Howard. Yeah, pleasure. Excited to do this.
Fantastic. Now, I have to ask right off the bat and say Pura Vida, right? Did I pronounce that right?
Vida. Yeah, right.
For our listeners, what is Pura Vida? What does that mean?
It's a Costa Rican slogan. It's something that Costa Rica is famous for. And you honestly, it translates as like pure life. And that's a very common expression if you would say like, hey, how are you? And then you would hear a lot of Pura Vida. And it's so funny because it can mean so many different things. You know, it's like Pura Vida can mean everything is great, pure life. But then you can be like, it's like there are challenges and you're like pure life. And it's just like surface shit, pure life. Like, you know,
I love it.
Something is going out of hand. You're like pure life because it is, right? It's just like unpredictable waves of life.
And I love this term because I grew up with shalom, or I grew up with aloha. It means many things, and it can have many contexts behind it. But and when I visited Costa Rica many years ago, it was a very special time in my life. I had gotten laid off, and I had booked this vacation. And I'm so glad I went. And so I've always had this idea. I'd love to get back to Costa Rica. And then here you are. We get to talk about it today and the special niche that you've created with the ARK. But before we kind of get into that story, I would love if you would, maybe at a high level view, give our listeners some context about who you are and what has your journey been like.
Thank you. First of all, you're welcome here in the ARK. Waiting for you whenever you decide to come.
I love it.
Please do stay with us and experience the ARK lifestyle, as we call it.
I love it.
Yeah, and well, I'm from Kazakhstan. It's always like I took a pause because I'm like, it's always like, how do I even explain it? I'm from Kazakhstan originally, and to understand or to take a sneak peek into my personal story, I was born in 1983. I'm 42 now. And I'm 42 years young.
I love it.
So, yeah. Well, I'm constantly reframing us. Whenever I talk to people, I'm like, how young are you? And people be like, wait. And we don't register that, like, we're actually asking, how old are you? Like, why? So I'm 42 years young. And I was born in Kazakhstan, which at that time was part of Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was blessed to experience propaganda on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed to experience conditioning, social conditioning, governmental conditioning, and whatever you call it. My dream when I was little, when I was 6 years young, my dream was to see the corpse of Lenin laying in the Red Square in Kremlin.
Oh boy.
Imagine the propaganda of Soviet Union was doing to us. And then when Soviet Union collapsed, we were living in Belarus by that time, and we came back with the family to our motherland, to Kazakhstan. And at the age of 14, my father gave me to a military school.
Mm.
So I studied there for 3 years, and then I went to the military university, and then I studied there for 4 years. So by the age of 20, I was, at the age of 20, 10 years of my life were in Soviet Union, and 7 years of my life were in the army. So, and And then I escaped from that. So
Ah,
at the age of 20, I escaped from the university. I quite literally jumped out from the window of our dorm, and I was like, that's enough. I cannot. And I think now looking back, I realized that I'm so grateful to my psyche, to my internal spirit, you call it whatsoever, that
yeah,
rebelled against the programming and that said that like that's enough.
I
And
love it.
I jumped out from that window, and that was the first step in my life towards taking my power back and making my own decisions. And that was the beginning of the large story that led me after so many years. When I started this 21, I was what whatever. Yeah, I was 38 when I launched the ARK. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think so. It took me 18 years and years of deprogramming, unlearning, deconditioning, and becoming myself
Okay.
to truly start doing something which is authentically aligned with my values and what I want to bring to this world, to this physical existence. And here we are talking with you today.
I love it. And I love the fact we hear that you've described from say age 20 to 38. It took that long to chip away at what had been built up for you, not to your own desire, but this is who you're going to become. And it took you that long to chip it away to find your true self. And when did this idea spark of the ARC and the community that you were desiring to build? So I'm really curious about that spark when like there's something else here, even greater than where I am today.
I was living back then in Tulum in Mexico. I
Okay.
was fortunate enough to live in that beautiful place, and Mexico largely contributed Mexican culture and just like hospitality and the warmth. And Mexico has a lot of love from me. And so I was living back then in Tulum. And honestly, I was thinking that Tulum is going to be my forever home. I moved to Tulum in the beginning of 2018.
Hmm.
And in summer 2020, we were like right in the midst of pandemic, remember? And like,
Right.
it's hard to say that pandemic was a beautiful time in Tulum, because we had this pristine blue Caribbean, turquoise water and white sand beach, just for ourselves, no tourists, everything closed, and we had the time of our life. I stopped watching news in the beginning of
Hmm.
2020. So we were practically isolated without knowing what's going on in the world. We were like not following much like social media, and we were just enjoying that life, understanding, of course, that the world is like that's things are happening. And but then in September 2020, Mexico decided to open the borders for tourists, and Tulum became, unfortunately, this kind of party capital of the world.
Mm.
And hundreds of developers flooded Tulum and started like, we always knew that like it's such a beautiful destination. It was like one of the world top destinations, and still is like tourist destination. So of course there was always this notion that eventually we thought in 2020, maybe we have another 5-7 years of living here, and then it's just going to become like a big, larger city.
Las Vegas
And
of the Mediterranean, I think.
I love Caribbean, yeah. And then it switched in
The
2020 in
Caribbean.
September, like that. And large hotel chains came. Like there was always an agreement that like hotel chains would never be there. And then like out of nowhere, Marriott appeared, and then Hyatt, and then like there was started like conversations about larger things. And then the international airport came. And who am I? Obviously, like as a foreigner living in Mexico, I'm no one to tell to Mexico how to navigate this, right? But the home feeling that we had, and it was like this little town, little village, it was gone. And obviously for tourism industry, of course, it was great, right? Like larger developments and everything, but this this feeling of cute little town and like a pristine nature, all that was gone.
Mm.
And at the same time, I was back then doing investments into stock market. So like I saw obviously the world, and then I was understanding how the real world is suffering. But at the same time, the stock market was booming. You remember it was like, I don't know how much you're into that, but like my portfolio was growing 300% that year. I was like, wow, this is such a disconnected world that we're living.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing how also pandemic brought, like, how out of nowhere, with first of all, everyone who lived there, we left without a home. And at the same time, we realized how fragile our lives are, like our lifestyle. And in my process of this kind of growing into my authentic self was all the way, and it was just developing. And I realized that, like, I have to do something. By then, I had pretty large experience in managing and or large scale projects back in Kazakhstan. I had a group of companies producing large scale events.
Mm-hmm.
I produced largest events of Kazakhstan. So I had the notion of like construction and complexity and project management. So like I decided in 2020 back then, when I saw this hundreds of acres being deforested in Tulum, and then like developers buying cheap this land and like building eco-conscious developments and planting 3-5 palms and call it like it's an eco development. I was like, wow, this hurts. We can't do so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was always in me, and I never ever will accept that it's just like, oh, I made it. I believe it's like by design, how the universe kind of manifested in my physical representation what is me. And it's not something that I came up with, but it's something which was called, and which was like, it's in a sense like, I'll make a step from away a little bit, like a romantic thing. Like I was Rick Rubin, if you read his book about the creative act, and I love how he said, like, you're just a vessel,
Mm-hmm.
and you're representing through your art, through your creativity, what's already there. So you're just downloading it and sending it out into the physical realm through the prism of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's what happened with the ARK. So like I felt it always in me that there is a more beautiful, more just world that we as humans can create.
Right.
And I didn't have this. I could not, living in Kazakhstan, living in more like traditional setting, I could not understand how it can work. And only this liberation and then like unlearning allowed me to be courageous enough and to tell, like, hey, I'm going to dedicate my life to something which is much larger. And it's not just a village in Costa Rica, but it's like, how can I facilitate and help together with others who are courageous enough to start this journey together with me? And we together can show that we as humans can do better. And that's why it's a regenerative village, right? Like we totally understand that the world requires regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
And regeneration in the larger scale, not only like applied to nature, but like to economical models, to human relationships, to business. And that's when was the moment. And then that's when I was like, okay, it seems that I lost my home in Tulum. So I have to embark on this journey and to find that new place and to try to do better and to show that we as humans can do better if we act from heart rather than from greed.
Okay. No, I love it. And you just answered one of my questions is when you talked about regenerative, whether a nature or village, ourselves, it's a little bit of everything in a way. It's kind of stepping back and unplugging, unhooking, the vestiges of modern technology and concrete and really starting to explore who am I as an individual? How do I want to give back? How did you end up I mean, Costa Rica, as long as I can remember, I shared, I went to Costa Rica. I had just gotten laid off, which was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I had had this trip booked, and it was back in 2012 when I was laid off, and it was just this gorgeous place with this reputation of protecting and caring for nature and uh, and everything I've ever heard about it since still speaks to that. A lot of people want to move there. They just want to unplug and move to Costa Rica. But how did you end up there? And then how did this desire to kind of create something new for yourself and who you are and surround yourself with people who have a similar vision? How did the ARK begin to take shape for you in Costa Rica, in Santa Teresa?
Yeah, I heard the same things about Costa Rica as you heard about it. Like when I was back in Kazakhstan, I was always thinking about this. Like I don't know, something was drawing me to like a small tropical destination, small town life where you would like go into a cafe and you would know everyone, you know, and you
Mm-hmm.
would like, it's like this kind of vibe of like easy lifestyle and real human, deeper human connections. So Costa Rica was always ringing the bell,
Okay.
and you're right. When you came in 2012, it was already this place of right. It's like famous for what Costa Rica is now. It's like 98% of renewable energy
Mm-hmm.
and 5% biodiversity of the world. And it's truly gorgeous, just wild place. I think for me, it was always like was the thought was like if the ARK is to appear, because we have very serious name, right? The ARK, we're like a Noah's Ark, right? So I was like, we have to have an environment where things like this can appear and it will be aligned with what the country is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And Costa Rica is seriously dedicated to conservation, preservation. 54% of the country are natural reserves.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's also an interesting thing because it's the first country that reversed deforestation. Many don't know, like back in the history, but Costa Rica was largely deforested between 1960 and 1980.
Mm-hmm.
A lot because of like huge meat consumption.
Mm-hmm.
They deforested a lot of jungle to make it pasture lands. And in the 80s, they experienced severe droughts and extensive ecological crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided that they have to reforest back the land and to take back this course. Otherwise, they would pass this like tipping point, like non point of no return. So they reversed back all these pasture lands, and they keep doing that, and they introduced different governmental programs. So it was kind of regeneration was already here even before it became the word.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like Costa Rica was like a logical answer in a sense. And Santa Teresa, I just love like it. We are located on Nicoya Peninsula. We're on the tip of that peninsula. And I don't know if you heard about it, but Nicoya Peninsula is one of 5 blue zones.
Mm-hmm.
And blue zones is these places where people live like longer and healthier and happier lives.
Man, I'm in.
Yeah, right. And then like everything, like you think like everything when you just even mention, you're like, damn it, this is the place. This has to be the place. So yeah, that's how it was the selection, and it's a gorgeous place, Howard. Like whenever you will come and you will walk here for the sunrise or sunset on the beach, which is just like huge long beaches, and you just see nature and just like the wildness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like uncontrolled. Like what I love about it is just like as much as I love, for instance, the nature of United, I think United States has one of the most beautiful nature, like national parks, and just like Grand Canyon. Like you just go and you see such different vast. That's what I really love. Like you can drive and see these vast places, but then at the same time, it has a feeling that everything is kind of very well organized and taken care of. But it's very like whenever you come, there's just like a person that takes care of it. There's just like an entrance. You just like there are rules, which is understandable. In
Sure.
Costa Rica, you just drive out and it's like a wild thing around.
I love it. What was it? What was the reception like when you arrived? Now, did you arrive with loved ones, friends, or was it just you and your bag and make the most of it? What was that like?
We started the ARK together with my friend, with very close friend. We're not partners anymore in this project. We maintained the friendship, and we came together, and that was the idea of like find the land and everything. And no, the reception wasn't like, hey, welcome. No. Costa Rican people are very protective of their land
Mm-hmm.
for logical reasons, and it's also great. And people were very skeptical in the beginning. We didn't get like romance from the first sight. There was no love from the first sight. No. People were trashing us in Facebook or like that. And it's truly so. Like people, Costa Ricans are like Mexicans are very open. They're like whenever they see you, they will be like, "Wow, you're my brother. My home is your home. Stay with me, whatever." Like that's it. Costa Ricans are very cautious. They're like they're gonna take their time to get to know you, to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever this trust is established, then it's unbreakable. Then it's there. These
I love it.
relationships are very deep, and truly so. Costa Rica is a very small country, and the foreigners are here since long time, of course. And of course, it's like a lot of foreigners. There is still like modern time colonialism is happening, gentrification is happening. People are coming
Mm-hmm.
and taking advantage. So there are very little reasons to trust the foreigners.
Sure.
And so I was totally ready for that. Doesn't matter how much you're ready, but still it affects you. And like, but then that's the thing, right? It's just like you have to prove it with actions rather than with words.
Sure.
So
Sure.
from the very beginning, I told that we're not going to get into like debates and prove that we're good guys, but we have to prove it with years. Now, people love the ARK. People love what we're doing. People saw that we're doing something different, something that not just respects nature, but like truly takes nature as a stakeholder
Mm-hmm.
and as a shareholder. And also what we're doing for the local community, the positive change that we're bringing, and we can open up later on in the
Sure.
episode.
Well, that's a wonderful segue because first, the next question is who is coming to experience the ARK and what has been the ARK's effect on the community? So tell us more about those two angles because I think it's great. There's a place that you live, it's beautiful, but you still the whole idea is you want people to come pay a visit or make it a home, but you still have that effect on the community. So I'm really curious about both of those angles.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, our mission, as we call it, is to create a cooperative village, which positively influences health of everyone who somehow interacts with us. Let's say so. So doesn't matter if like people live here or people come to stay or people just come for one event or people who heard us, people who saw something about us.
mm-hmm.
Not so like all type of interactions. How can we positively improve and health of these people? And by health, I don't only mean physical health. I mean like everything which is like a spiritual health, mental health, physical, of course, right? And it's just like this kind of healthy lifestyle. And in general, that's what we are promoting in a sense. We are putting people into the driver's seat of their health. We
Mm-hmm.
believe that we have them as capitalism taught us to give away our power, right? Like there is always a person that knows better, an expert, a doctor, this or that. We believe that there is an innate ability and wisdom that we carry within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And education or bringing more information, right? Like raising awareness, and this already can change a lot. And we're not just talking, of course, people who are coming to just to stay at the ARK. These are people who are looking for it. Like, first of all, come and remove or distance yourself from the noise that is happening there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like, and just how they should see faces of people when they ground themselves, when they start working with the land, with the soil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just that, and just people like bring back people to these roots of just like go to the farm and just like work and just be in the sun. and don't cover yourself with chemical sunscreens, but
Yeah.
just like go in the sun and just like swim in the ocean. And it's funny enough, but like Santa Teresa is, it's rarely love at first sight for people. People are coming and then it's just like, it's very badly organized. The roads are bad. It's just like, and people normally like this transition from paved roads and a great flight, and then you're coming to this, and you're like, after a day, you're sweaty, covered in dust, and you're like, shit. It's like, I hate all this. After,
Mm.
and then people normally like, they're not, they're like, yeah, it's beautiful, but I don't know. Then you're like, yeah, sure. And like in 3 days, people are, we're going to a waterfall. In 5 days, they're smiling, they're covered in dust. They're like, oh my god, this is amazing. We went like horseback riding, and I was just like, in a week, they're like, well, actually, we were looking for a place to stay a longer time, maybe to buy something, or like in 10
Okay.
days, they're completely in love. But this tells you how disconnected we are from nature, how comforted we are with the modern life, with modern life, and capitalism kind of like bribes us.
I love it. It took you all those years to break down those barriers and that have been built for you, and people are coming there in 10 days. All right, I'm in. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
So
and yeah.
what are the kind of the range of experiences? You talk about working the land, and I know on your website, which by the way, I would love to take a little tour of your website. I mean, and I tried to find land in the back of my picture. This is Costa Rica, by the way. I have no idea
It
where,
does
but it
look like
is.
it does look like.
But what are the experiences that your visitors will have available to them once they arrive? What are some of the experiences they're going to have?
And there are, the range is huge, right? Like we're located 5 minute drive from the beach. So like first of all, Santa Teresa is one of the top world surfing spots. We
Okay.
have surf year round, non-stop. So it's a mecca for surfers. Uh Whatever like outdoor adventures, because I think like that's what's also for your audience would be like, they're like, okay, bring us to like, what's real there. So it's like mountain biking is very famous. Costa Ricans love mountain biking, and it's just like a lot of that. Horseback riding, like horseback riding on the beach through the jungle. Wow. Fishing, so like ocean fishing, and then
Okay.
all sorts of hiking, waterfalls, whatever you name it. And then within the project, we in general love to bring people as diverse programming as possible. So it's like from morning classes of like usually whatever you name it, Pilates, yoga, workouts, to salsa classes, to ecstatic dances, to healing meditations, to like you name it, all sorts of different kind of ways to move your body, to move your spirit, to connect with yourself. So we love to keep it balanced. So it's like it has like deeper kind of feeling of experiences
Okay.
where it's not just like physical and you feel the adrenaline rush. But it's also not only that, but that you can also go out and have like get a motorcycle and have like motocross through like endless dirt roads and and
I love
drive
it.
to like neighboring towns and be just all covered in dirt.
I love it. This, I don't know if this question is too premature, but one thing I was thinking about was what has been the emotional effect for the individuals that are spending time with you? And I know you kind of joked a little bit, oh, after 10 days, I'm ready to buy. But what are you experiencing from your clients, your visitors, their emotional journey? What is that like when all of a sudden you see somebody, they've totally changed? What's that been like for you?
I think first and foremost, people mention the idea of like connection. Like it's a different lifestyle, right? Like when you are in the city, how do you how do we socialize when we're in the city, right? It's like it's a lunch meeting or it's a
Mm,
dinner.
mhm.
Maybe you host a dinner at home. Maybe it's already level up. But people normally prefer not to, right? And then maybe it's a hang. You go to, I don't know, baseball, a basketball game, and you just like and sometimes it's a hike or something. And here it's like, imagine if time has stopped. So there is no like you just go like your hangout with friends would be like you go to the beach and it's just like you stay on the beach for 4 hours, 5 hours, like all afternoon or all morning. And then you eat together and then you surf and then you play games and you stay. And it's just like, so like imagine like the human connection that you're developing during that time. And then the same within the project, within the ARK, right? It's just like you're having common experiences and then you share a meal. So connection comes a lot because then you understand, people understand in the moment. They're like, oh wow, like there is this vastness of this opening that allows it. It's just like this invitation that it's normal to have slower conversation and not like 1 hour lunch.
Love it.
So this is definitely a thing. And then I think another point is peace and calm, which people are experiencing. It's like you don't have this like inflammation that is there constantly, right? It's just bugging. So people are getting like slower. And Costa Rica always, the slowness, it invites you. If I don't know if maybe you remember the roads, it's never a straight line.
No.
It's like you drive 30 miles for 4 hours. And Costa Rica is a tiny country. Right? I have to make a comparison to any state in the United States. I won't be able to tell it out of my mind, but
it's probably some Northeast state like Rhode Island or Delaware. I mean, it's very small.
I think it's like size of Rhode Island, maybe something like that. So it's like a whole country, and it's like less than 5 million people population. So it's just like it, and you have to. I can't say that you have to be prepared for that because you cannot prepare for it. You can try to prepare for it, but then when you driving from one point to another and you realize that you're driving this 30 miles for the third hour now, you're like honestly, Howard, like my first couple of years, I was like, shit, like, can this be quicker? But then I was like, but what's the hurry? Like, it's a beautiful.
There's a feeling that I've been experiencing, and I talked to many of my guests about, because they promote it. It's from the outdoor space, like slow hiking or slow birding. I mean, we don't want to. You don't want to hike. We have the John Muir Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail, and we have to hike so many miles per day to get to where we need to be, so a truck can pick us up at the end. Whereas the slow aspect is walk a half a mile or a mile, stop and smell the roses, take a picture, enjoy a cup of coffee or some water, and then just smell what's around you, listen to the breeze, or in the birding, find a place in the forest and just stop, don't move, and listen what's around you. I know Costa Rica has wonderful birds. I'd be a happy camper because I love taking photos and listening to the birds. But it's just the idea of just slowing down and just taking it all in and appreciating what's there, as opposed to having that agenda, which is what I'm thinking a lot of what you're saying this experience is going to be. I love it.
Exactly. And it's just like this feeling of, like the current moment. And again, you can make it as spiritual or as mindful as you want it to be, or you also can keep it on the level of like, it's just that moment with me and with nature. And and nature here invites you to be. I got used to it, of course, and for me now going to the cities, I've been in Portugal and Lisbon, which I totally loved as the city. It's very cute, like European city. And then on the third day, it struck me so hard. I was like, wait a second, there is no soil. I don't see soil anymore. It's all concrete. There are no insects. There are no birds. And it struck me. I was like, wow, this is insane. Because here, I look now outside of like the glass out of my room, and like everything is constantly moving.
Yeah.
everything. And I have, when friends are visiting me or some people coming to the ARK, they're like, we have never seen so much of wildlife. And by wildlife, normally we say like, oh, there's a puma, like, of course, but just general like wildlife, like insects, whatsoever, birds, everything. Everything is moving all the time, and that's when you realize that's how what we as humans also have done to nature. How
Yeah.
distant we are from it,
Oh, yeah.
and
Very
it's
much.
crazy.
Hey, listen, I would love if you would take us on a tour of your website because you've got
Let's do
some
it.
beautiful imagery and photos. You up for that?
Yes, let's do
All
it.
right.
Let's
All
do it.
right.
I'm
So the
excited to
miracle
do
of modern technology here.
it.
All right. So we should be seeing the ARC's website.
Yeah.
Okay. So take us on a little tour.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing because like our website is our home and internet. So we're trying to kind of populate it as much as possible. So the short video you're seeing is just like some of us in our day-to-day life. This is the beach of Santa Teresa, and like it's just like a daily life that you would see being at the ARK. So we have
Okay.
these three tabs on top side. It's like leave, stay, and experience. So
Okay.
this is kind of with depending on what you're intending to do. So if you go to experience, we're organizing our first retreat, which is called True. And if you
Okay.
fall, and this is like a journey to your true self. So this kind of famous unlearning or
All right.
becoming or like growing,
November or
shedding.
December. That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, it says so. It's a beautiful retreat for anyone who wants to embark on that journey. It's a homemade retreat that will happen at the ARK with
Okay.
several of our. If you go down there, you will see like several of our residents, and this is
Okay.
everything that people can experience, and and everything that is going to happen here. And if you go a little bit down there, look at
Wow.
this nature; it's insane.
Alligators or crocodiles. I think.
Crocodiles, yeah.
I saw some of those when I was in Costa Rica.
We're
Oh,
famous for that. We're famous for that, yeah. And yeah, here you can see some of our residents. So like Franca, she's from Chile and she's an amazing, she's a fruitarian and she's also like a nutritionist. And Alexis from Netherlands, she's also our resident. And Suzanne, she's from Switzerland, also our resident. So like, this is something that we're creating all together. And this uh, Yevgenia is from Russia. She lives also here, and she's the one who's preparing and organizing this retreat. So, like all these
okay.
people are preparing this special way to experience the ARK and experience more than anything themselves. This is our shala. This is a photo of our space, like where we're hosting majority of our events.
Okay.
So you see, and this is like kind of a short experience, and this is like one of our events that we're hosting. And if you go up into this tab of experience, you will find all other programming. You see, like you can see like all upcoming events that we're having, and people can apply here to teach or perform at the ARK.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so there are like different facilitators or artists if they want to give like, and you go there and you will see the form. But uh, yeah, and then you can also host a retreat at the ARK. So like the lowest one, this is like everything which is happening at the ARK like day to day. So you see like every Tuesday we have like self-defense class, the salsa classes.
All right. That's
Yeah,
what I need to kind of get in better shape with the.
you'll love it. It's so fun. And the yin yoga and hatha yoga, you see like it's every Saturday we're hosting a volunteer day at the farm. Today we're hosting a moon tribe gathering. It's a full moon, so it's a long 3-hour event.
Oh,
We
beautiful.
we have 3 horses, and we're hosting. You see, full moon circle with horses with Apolline. It's beautiful horse meditation. And next Friday is an ecstatic dance. You see, so it's like a full on like a social life here
Yeah.
that is happening. And if you
Now,
go, yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Mm, I just wanted to share that if you go up and there are like two other tabs like leave and stay. So whenever people want to come and visit the ARK, they just have to go to stay. And
Okay.
here they can see like our available properties that are located. These are residence houses that are already in the ARK. So
Okay.
people can come and rent one of the houses of the residents.
Okay.
And
Now I'm curious, just because my roommate and her boyfriend will care about this because they want to start a 55 plus community, and they're looking at, I think they call them ADUs. They're like something dwelling units, but
uh-huh.
they go up very quick. It's not like you poured concrete and framing, but some of them are very sustainable, and which, I mean, they look like tiny homes in a way. But and so your guests can stay at these homes then is
Yes, the
okay.
guests who are visiting the ARK, the whole idea is that we are a residential project, right? So
Okay.
we're a village. So people are renting out their houses whenever they're not here.
Okay, that's the one
So
I want, by the way, the
this
studio.
is very
That's
cute, right?
me. That's me. All
That's
right, I'm
very
there.
cute. It's very nice. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Love it. And
Yeah.
so
And
when
if
a
you go,
visitor comes to the site, they can just
they can just
respond
say like,
to,
yeah, or there is this button you see down where it says stay with us in the
yeah,
center.
right.
And there is a button that says book your stay. Yeah.
I
And
love
then
it.
people like click there and they just like put their dates, and the website will show them the
Okay.
options. And
And
there's
I love
another
you've got
tab.
your philosophy and
Yeah, the philosophy, everything. A journal. Journal is a great one to just read for anyone who wants to deeper understand what we're doing.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like,
Good fruit.
yeah, the mulberries and like different, like you can hear meet the people from the community and like understand who we are, what drives us, what brought us together. So it's kind of introduction. Yeah, like the permaculture. We have a 15-acre farm based on permaculture principles.
Okay.
So here we're explaining a lot about that. Yeah, so it's
Excellent. And there's the local grass
yeah,
control.
this is the story of our land. Our land was a pasture land. It was deforested in 1966. So it was a cattle range for 60 years. So
Hmm.
this is the first year that we don't have cattle in 60 years on this land.
Oh, wow.
So like that amount of years that we had cattle here obviously affected the land, became overgrazed, and
Right.
just like everything. So yeah, it's a whole like a deeper dive into what we're creating. And this is when you're gonna be flying from actually here where it says coming home to the ARK, you see this view.
Yeah.
So whenever you're gonna be flying from San Jose on a jumper plane, this is gonna be your view.
Uh-huh.
So every time that I'm flying, I call it my Uber to the airport. So and this is the view from my Uber when I'm driving when I'm getting to the
I
airport.
love it. I love it. I mean, it's such a fascinating adventure. It's not an experiment because it's living and breathing right now and it's happening. And I love the impact that you're having, your peers and your partners in this endeavor are having, just to get people to lead a healthier, authentic life as opposed to I have an agenda, I got to get it done. And just I love the
Yeah,
fact of unwiring. I'm not even going to ask how good your internet connection is. By the way, it's probably pretty good because uh,
it
what
is.
I do is I sit all day, almost all day, between podcasting and
Yeah.
coaching. But I love this, and I haven't shared yet. I'm always looking for my next place to live, so we'll see.
Maybe
Uh,
maybe that's the ARK.
there you go. There you go. I love the logo as well. That's gorgeous. And really,
Yeah,
thank you
it's like
for
it's a thank you. And I'd just like to tell you also about the logo. This is like a combination of three different kind of circles, small logos, which mean togetherness, growth, and oneness. And we say like
okay.
we gather to grow and to come to oneness with nature.
I love
So
it. Fantastic.
that's the
Well, I'm
ARK.
going to head back to just you and I. Thank you for sharing the website. It's gorgeous, and I love the imagery, and it's kind of tugging on my heartstrings just a little bit here.
Thank you, Howard.
Before we head out, Marat, as you have been on your journey now since you were that 20-year-old that jumped out of the window and went off and said, I need to something better for my life and for my loved ones. What has been kind of your aha moment to where you are today? What would that be?
I think aha moment, now that I don't think about it, but now that you ask, it's just like I was like something popped into my head, and I had this in Siankan in the nature reserve and next to Tulum, and in 2020 I had my first ever ceremony of Huachuma, which is San Pedro, which is a cocktail like that you drink, and it's like a psychedelic, and it's a psychedelic ceremony.
Okay.
And that moment when I realized I experienced my ego death moment,
Okay.
and ego death. Somebody recently asked me like, okay, how do you describe how what do you feel when an ego death? And I was like, I tapped into back into that memory, and it feels like you're falling into the darkness, into like this kind of deep dark well with no end, and you're trying to actively in your mind, obviously, and you're trying to actively grasp like the walls, and imagine if like these walls have these little stones on which you're grabbing, and this stone is like it's you falling and trying to grab to your like, to your personality, to something what you are, what you think you are. You're like, and because this well represents this like, so who are you? You are like, and you're like, wait a second, I'm that. And I was like, no, wait, like I was like, wait, I speak those languages, and like grasp, and like, and it breaks, and you're like, what languages? What is a language? And you're like, wait, I I belong to that family. Like I have my mom and my sister, bam, and it's also like no, and you're like, I did this in my life, bam, no, and the more you're trying to grasp, your consciousness is trying to grasp to something familiar, the more these stones are breaking, and you keep falling and falling and falling till the moment that you realize that you're dying, literally, like you experience death of your ego. And
Mm,
it's not ego death in the moment of like your pride death. No, it's like your ego, yourself is dying.
mhm.
It's a death of self that you're experiencing, and it's the most scary, terrifying, and horrifying moment of your life, because you're going mad, you're going crazy, you think you will never come back, you're dying, you think you're gonna die, so you're like you're experiencing that, and in the end of this well, but you just understand that actually you're one with this universe, and you're
Mm,
one, you experience this sense of oneness, that no matter what you speak, and all these like, what your nationality, what languages you talk, what your race, what color of your skin, what you have done in life, you're rich, you're poor, whatsoever, you're part of something much larger, which is universe, God, you name it, however you want to call it. But you experience this, and it's not like, the one thing is to know and to understand the theory, and another thing is to feel it with the fibers of your body, of your soul. When you touch sand or whatever, or water, you touch the tree, and you realize that you're actually one, and that's something that rewires you, and there is, I tell you, Howard, honestly speaking, there is no way back from it. And when that seed of consciousness was planted, and it grows into all different directions, and that's when you truly understand that you cannot harm this, because by harming this, you're harming yourself, you're harming something so magical, and
right.
you're harming everyone whom we're connected through this invisible flow of oneness.
I I think we could all benefit from hearing that message.
Thank you. Thank you for
Most definitely.
allowing the space to share and giving me this opening to, because I was like, wow, it's not gonna be easy.
No,
But thank you.
I love it. I love it. Now, Marat, if our listeners would like to learn more about you and your work, we just visited the ARK website, theark.world. Anywhere else we should go?
I think Instagram handle of the same theark.world would be a good place.
Okay.
And yeah, our website. And if people just want to subscribe to our newsletter, we're always sending fun and in interesting emails. But more than
Fantastic.
anything, I think it's the same like with my aha moment. One thing is to read, one thing is to know, one thing is to understand the theory. Another thing is to come and experience. So I'm inviting everyone to come and experience this lifestyle.
I love it, and I hope our listeners do take advantage of that. So thank you for spending time with us this afternoon. And I can only imagine you're going to, like us, we have a lot of, our sunsets are very red. We have a lot of wildfires going on right now, but I do remember the sunsets in Costa Rica, and they were so beautiful. And I know it's right outside your door, but thank you for taking time to chat with us today. I'm so glad we met each other through Podmatch. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Howard. I'm waiting for you here.
You got it. I'm going to make my way there. Trust me on that. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a very quick close, and you and I can have a final chat. All right, folks, we've just been chatting with Marat Omarov, the founder of the ARK, which is a regenerative village in Costa Rica. And really, we learned about what the word regenerative means. This is not just about the soil. It's not just about where we get our food from, but also about our humanity, our mental health, emotional, physical, spiritual. There's so much opportunity to experience regenerative experiences. And here, the ARK is this village in Costa Rica, Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, that Marat and his peers have created for us, and really hope you are able to take advantage of it in some shape or fashion. Do go out to the website and sign up for their mailing list so you can begin to embark on an experience. And we're also going to provide backlinks to the social sites as well. As for us, this episode will be up on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We're also on LinkedIn and Facebook on our Outdoor Adventure Series pages. The video of this episode, including the tour of the ARK website, will be up on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to this episode wherever you get your podcast from. Until next time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a fantastic day. We look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Pura Vida.